Okay, I'm with Steve Lewis, Station Manager at Radio Warrington. Happy Christmas, Steve.
Happy Christmas to you and your readers.
Now, I noticed that Radio Warrington's coming up to its 5th anniversary in March next year, so
That's right.
Can you give us an update on how things have been going recently?
Well, obviously we're continuing with our full match commentary for the Warrington Wolves and also for Warrington Town. We go to all the home and away games. Very kindly, you give us a spot on your bus to take our equipment along there. So we're continuing to do that through the new year. We've just built a new studio at the Halliwell Jones Stadium for training young people to do with the Warrington Wolves Foundation. So they're very kindly giving us some space there for a new studio. And Ofcom will allow us to apply for a community radio licence sometime in 2013, so obviously it's a while off yet, but we are gearing up towards that. Hoping, as we have done many times before, to be able to do an RSL, which is a temporary 28-day licence, which allows us to broadcast on FM for that time, and we can do that twice a year, but it's very expensive, so we're hoping to get some backers to help us to do that. And apart from that, just continuing to broadcast on the internet 24 hours a day. We've got lots of great presenters now, lots of different shows, rock shows, country shows, soul shows, blues programmes, 60s, 70s, 80s, different themed shows, so hopefully something for everybody.
Now, you've said there about all the different shows. How many volunteers have you got involved with Radio Warrington these days?
Currently I think it's 32, so we're doing pretty well. We've got some young people, older people, and just various different people. People come and go, but we're always very keen to train new people.
Now, I know we're in the farm here in Cinnamon Brow. This is your main HQ. Have you got any other expansion plans? You've already mentioned the Halliwell Jones. Yeah. Have you got plans to open up anywhere else in the community?
Well, we've talked to a few other people over the past few weeks. It's obviously very expensive to set up studios. Most of the stuff that we use is second-hand or borrowed or scrounged. Yeah, we have obviously our van, our mobile studio, which allows us to broadcast from pretty much anywhere. We've got a temporary studio which we set up temporarily during home games at Cantilever Park. And we also do a lot of stuff at Warrington Market. We're hoping to get something a little more permanent there as well. And
are you still the soul man?
I still do my soul show on a Sunday night, yes, from 6 o'clock. So, yes, I know you don't like the soul music, but I've been doing that for coming up 14 years, I think it is now, on radio stations in Warrington.
Have you managed to work out how many hours you've been broadcasting then over the last 4 3/4 years?
Well, me personally, or the
radio station?
Well, yeah, it's whatever 24 times 365 times 5 is.
And you never have any problems going off air with internet connections or anything like that?
Obviously it's the internet, so things do fall over, but it's all set to restart itself. Yeah, we've had power cuts and we've had all kinds of things happening to us over the years. Obviously machinery falls over, that sort of thing, when it's running overnight. But generally speaking, we keep on doing it. We managed to hold it all together with bits of sellotape and blue tack, and it just keeps on going. Now,
I realise you failed for your licence bid last time to get the temporary FM licence. How confident are you you'll get it next time round?
Well, part of the reason that we were turned down the first time was that we were too similar to the existing radio station in the area, which obviously we would have been because the three of us that started it were of that radio station. So since that time we've looked at other ways of broadcasting and tried to do things which other stations aren't doing, which is why we're so keen to do radio training, full match sports commentaries, a lot of outside broadcasting in the year. We do I think how many hours we actually do outside of the studio where we're interviewing people, bringing guests into the studio to chat to them, having a lot of community involvement as much as we can really. We've had some great local characters come in and talk to us in the studio. Quite often they'll take over the whole show, and that's something which we do which nobody else does, so that's one thing we've addressed to make sure that we sound different. Other reasons that we were turned down was because we didn't have any experience in working as a not-for-profit organisation, which, considering we have very little income now, we've certainly managed to address that one. And the third problem, which is one we can't really deal with, is the lack of FM frequencies in this area. Lots of other community radio stations are in areas which are broken up by hills, and hills obviously allow a radio frequency to stay in a certain area, whereas here there's no real mountains or hills in this part, if you consider the whole of the northwest area, so the frequencies are scarce, although we do argue the fact that a radio station that's in somewhere like Ashton, we could have because the community radio stations only have a 5 kilometre radius, we argue the fact that why can't we have that frequency, because it's such a long distance away. And of course there's always AM, although nobody tends to listen to AM anymore.
So is there anything the people of Warrington can do to help support your bid for a licence in the future?
Well, certainly when the time comes for us to put our application together, then we'll be approaching people to write letters of support, which we hope, considering the amount of events that we've covered and groups, charity groups and so on that we've supported, we hope that they would reciprocate and support us when the time comes for us to put our official bid together to Ofcom.
For anyone out there who's not yet listened to Radio Warrington, how do they go about doing it?
Very simple. You can just look for Radio Warrington in your browser. The website is www.radiowarrington.co.uk. That puts you onto the home page, and then there's a listen live button you can click on there, and it will play in glorious mono.
Okay, Steve. Good luck in the future.
Thanks very much. Nice to speak to you. Merry Christmas.
Cheers.